If you've been seeing posts about I-751 denials, deportation warnings, and notices to appear flooding your social media, I know exactly how that feels. You filed your paperwork, you followed the process, and now you're wondering if something went terribly wrong without you even knowing it. You're not alone in feeling that fear, and I want you to take a breath, because today we're going to separate what's actually happening from what's being exaggerated online. I'm Saqib, and this is Global Immigration Updates, where we bring you immigration news based on facts, not fear, and no rumors. Let's talk about I-751 denials, why USCIS issues notices to appear, and what deportation risk really means for you in 2026. First, let's be clear about what Form I-751 actually is. This is the petition to remove conditions on your green card. If you got your green card through marriage and you've been married for less than 2 years at the time you received it, your green card is conditional. It's valid for 2 years. Before it expires, you and your spouse file Form I-751 together to remove those conditions and get your 10-year green card. That's the normal process, and it happens to hundreds of thousands of people every year. Now, here's what's causing the panic. Some cases are being denied, and when a case is denied, USCIS can issue what's called a Notice to Appear, or NTA. A Notice to Appear is a document that begins removal proceedings, which is the legal term for deportation proceedings. That sounds terrifying, and I completely understand why people are scared. But let's break down what's actually happening and why. USCIS does not issue notices to appear randomly or as a punishment. An NTA is issued when there is a legal reason your case cannot be approved and you do not have another valid immigration status to fall back on. For example, if your I-751 is denied and your conditional green card has already expired, you may no longer have lawful status. In that situation, USCIS is required by law to begin removal proceedings. This is not a new policy. This is not something that just started in 2026. This has been the process for years. So why are I-751 cases being denied? There are very specific reasons. The most common one is failure to provide sufficient evidence that your marriage is genuine. Remember, the whole point of the conditional green card is to prevent immigration fraud. USCIS needs to see proof that you and your spouse have a real life together. If you submit very little evidence, or if the evidence doesn't clearly show a shared life, your case can be denied. Another reason is failure to attend your biometrics appointment or your interview if one is scheduled. If you miss these without a valid excuse, your case will be denied. A third common reason is if USCIS believes the marriage was entered into solely for immigration benefits. And finally, if you're filing a loan because you're divorced or your spouse refuses to sign, but you don't meet the criteria for a waiver, that can also lead to a denial. Now let's address the misinformation. Some people online are saying that USCIS is denying cases on purpose to deport people, or that there's a new crackdown targeting everyone with a conditional green card. That is not true. What is true is that USCIS has always had the authority to deny cases that don't meet the legal requirements, and they have always had the obligation to issue a notice to appear when someone's status expires after a denial. What may be happening now is that more people are becoming aware of this process because of increased communication on social media, or because processing times have been so long that cases are being decided years after filing, which can create confusion. It's also important to understand that receiving a notice to appear does not mean you are automatically deported. It means your case will go before an immigration judge. You will have the opportunity to present your case in court. You can submit additional evidence. You can have an attorney represent you. You can explain your situation. The judge will make a decision based on the law and the facts of your case. This is called due process, and it exists to protect you. So who is actually at risk here? You are at higher risk if you filed Form I-751 with little or no supporting evidence. You are at risk if you missed your interview or biometrics without rescheduling or providing a reason. You are at risk if there are signs of fraud in your case, or if your marriage ended before you filed and you don't qualify for a waiver. You are also at risk if you simply ignored the process and never filed I-751 at all before your conditional green card expired. But if you filed on time, if you included strong evidence of your genuine marriage, if you attended all your appointments, and if your case is simply still pending, you are not in immediate danger. Pending cases are protected. As long as your case is pending and you filed before your card expired, you have what's called extended status. You can continue to live and work in the United States while you wait for a decision. Now let's talk about what you should actually do. If your I-751 case is still pending, do not panic. Make sure you keep copies of your receipt notice. If you need proof of status for work or travel, your receipt notice plus your expired conditional green card together show that you are in valid status. If you have not yet filed and your card is about to expire, file as soon as possible. Do not wait. Include as much evidence as you can. Joint bank accounts, joint leases, utility bills in both names, photos together over time, affidavits from people who know your marriage is real. The more evidence, the better. If your case has already been denied, do not ignore it. If you received a notice to appear, that is a court summons. You must respond. This is the time to hire an immigration attorney if you have not already. An attorney can review why your case was denied, help you gather additional evidence, represent you in court, and argue your case before the judge. Ignoring an NTA will result in an order of removal in your absence, and that makes everything much worse. If you're worried about your case but you haven't heard anything yet, you can check your case status online at the USCIS website using your receipt number. You can also call the USCIS contact center if your case is outside normal processing times. And if you're unsure whether your evidence was strong enough, consult with an immigration attorney now before a decision is made. It's always better to be proactive. Let me also remind you that immigration law does not change overnight. Policies, procedures, and enforcement priorities can shift, but the core legal framework for I-751 has been in place for decades. The requirements are clear. The process is documented. You can read the instructions for Form I-751 directly on the USCIS website. You can find policy manuals, FAQs, and official guidance all published by USCIS themselves. Don't rely on rumors. Don't make decisions based on what someone posted in a Facebook group. Go to the source. I also want to say this. If you're going through this process and you're feeling overwhelmed, that's completely normal. Immigration is stressful. The waiting is hard. The uncertainty is exhausting. But the system, even with all its flaws, does have protections built into it. You have rights. You have the right to present your case. You have the right to appeal. You have the right to legal representation. And most importantly, you have time to act if something goes wrong. So here's what I want you to take away from this video. I-751 denials happen, but they happen for specific reasons, not randomly. Notices to appear are serious, but they are part of a legal process that gives you the chance to defend yourself. Deportation is not automatic, and if your case is strong and you follow the process, you have every reason to stay calm and stay focused. The fear you're feeling right now is valid, but it should not paralyze you. It should motivate you to take the right steps, stay informed, and protect yourself with facts. If this video helped you understand what's really going on, please hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss future updates. Share this video with anyone you know who might be worried about their I-751 case or their immigration status. And leave your questions in the comments below. I read them, and your questions help me know what to cover next. This is Saqib from Global Immigration Updates. Stay calm, stay informed, and I'll see you in the next video.